be consistent. I think it's a lie. I actually think it's a lie.
We have to do this, or we may be sick or something.
I want to send something out to the world that's beautiful, that's art.
I truly hate this idea of climbing a mountain, getting to a peak just to climb to the next peak. Like, what about enjoying the view? Be like the ocean. You know that feeling when, like, you've been quiet for a while, less wins, maybe like no wins at all. We go through seasons like that. And like for the creators, you're not posting, you're not creating, you're not producing. And really just for like anybody, you're just not showing up in the way that you would like to. We all find ourselves there. And then we feel this guilt telling you that you're falling off. And obviously it's like beyond frustrating. You scroll past people doing more than you, saying more than you. And I think in reality, a part of you wants to just get back to it, like right away, you understand, in your rhythm, in your fruitful era. Because where you are right now, that space that we're in is uncomfortable. But it's beautiful, you understand? It's beautiful. The irony in it is that you probably think you've fallen off, when in reality, I think you're falling into something. You understand? I've actually, I worked on this one beat like 4 years ago. Now I've had this weird relationship with music where like I'll go long distances of time not working on anything because music broke my heart in the very beginning of my like creative journey. And I'm not going to get into it right now, but like I stopped making music and I'll go back and forth. And I made this like one beat like 3-4 years ago and I just got stuck with it. And then the other day, like I just had this burst of energy and I revisited it and I'm like absolutely loving it. I'm like nerding out. Before we get into the topic, let me just like kind of show you this like quick little vibe right here, right? So I love that part. Hold up. We're not there yet, but like we're there, but I'm just like, I love how it's coming together. And then there's one more part. It's not there, but like I know what needs to be in it, but just a little bit of time and space and we're gonna figure it out. It's fun, right? Like what I love about this is we got these like little sounds like we have like little like breaths, you understand? I always love textures. I always love like recording my voice and just putting like little anything like that. Vibes, you understand? I like it. Anyways, but I've always loved how like you can have time and space away from something and then out of nowhere it just clicks. And I've always loved ideas that contradict common knowledge, like the kind of truth that just simply, it's like sits quietly in the background while everyone else is yelling in the foreground. I always say like, I'm the type of person, if everybody's going into the front of the club, I'm finding a way to get into the back of the club. You understand? That's like my metaphor for life. But one of my favorite philosophies, 100%, and I mention it a lot on this channel, is the Tao. I just absolutely love the Tao for its, in reality, it's contrarian wisdom to modern society. Like the Tao will say something like, the master does nothing, yet leaves nothing undone. I love that, you understand? Because it's like, how do you do nothing but nothing gets undone? Like, teach me, Or in the Tao it says, nothing in this world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard, the gentle overcomes the rigid. I love ideas like that, right? Ones that seem slightly soft or even passive to some or odd to our senses at first. Even when Jesus is like, turn the other cheek, you understand? Someone do something to you, turn the other cheek. And to the person that's living in their ego and in their aggression, they can't really understand that type of wisdom. But for those of us interested in like the matters of the heart and stacking those true credentials, I believe we embark on that journey to discover those deeper truths. Like, how does the master do nothing, yet nothing is undone? How is turning the other cheek more powerful than going for an eye, even though an eye for an eye keeps both individuals blind? I love that. Another one I realize is just, again, the idea of space and distance from something or someone bringing you actually a lot closer to it. A lot of the time we think that space makes a connection worse or like fade away. And yeah, sometimes it can. But other times I believe if it is real, if it's meant to be, if it's true, that distance brings depth, right? Or it can sharpen the bond. It shows you what matters. And I feel like that's exactly what I've been exploring in my own life lately, especially with my craft, my purpose, my mission. You know, I have this one friend who used to make music, and I'll be real with you. Sorry, my voice is a little extra raspy today. We haven't really been here as much. Okay, I'm good. But to be real with you, like his music, it wasn't good, you know? Like it was mainly like parody rap and comedy raps, and we had fun shooting the videos. I would help him out, but I was never playing the songs like on my own time. And then he stopped, he quit music, he retired, he said he was over it. Another day he hits me up and he's like, yo, bro. And I actually thought he was gonna ask me for something, and I just and I was like, oh, should I pick up? And then but instead he says, I love you, man. Like he does that. He's like, one of those brothers will be like, I love you, man. And you're like, yo, what are you up to? And he's like, nah, I love you. I was like, okay, cool. Received. And then he says, I just want to send you something, right? I want you to listen to something. And I'm like, sure. I love it when people send me their music. I love hearing or seeing new creations from my community, from my people, because it's like, yes, let's express ourselves. And I just believe I have like immaculate taste. I really do. Like one of my goals in life is just to become like a reviewer of experiences, curating experiences. But one of my hobbies in life is just like going and experiencing something and then like rating it. I'm like thinking about how I can like start a whole new thing. Anyways, you know, we got lots of ideas in the mind. So I told him to send it over and I pressed play. Now I was shocked because it was actually good. It was like, again, I told you, like he wasn't a good rapper. But this was good, not just good for him, like it was genuinely a good song. And I said, when did you make this? And he said, last night. I was like, wait, when's the last time you made a song? And he said, 6 years ago. 6 years, no practice, no posting, no strategy, no in the studio, no writing, no beats, no nothing. And 6 years later, this is his best song yet by far. For 6 years, he just lived his life. He made mistakes. He fell in love. He pursued other mediums like acting, maybe experienced some depression. And I love this. I love this idea because I've experienced it many times in my own life. But we live in a time where everyone's telling you to be consistent, to grind every single day, to never stop pushing the craft forward. And don't get me wrong. Discipline matters. Fundamentals matter. The 10,000 hours to get good at something, I truly believe matters. But I think there is like another layer that they don't talk about enough. And sometimes space is the greatest gift you can give to something, your craft, your job, your purpose, your mission, intentionally or even unintentionally, you understand? Because in reality, a lot of times it's unintentional. We start to lose our rhythm, our focus, life happens, adulting happens, we lose someone, whatever may happen. And then we find ourselves in a place of stagnation. Maybe you're heartbroken because a family member passed away. And we don't even know how to step back into our old self and what we are doing or our creations of art. We're stuck, we're stagnant. So we step away. And rarely do we step away, I think, with peace. Normally we villainize that space right away. But I think that lacks wisdom, you know? Sometimes sometimes we're being stagnant and sometimes we're being lazy. Let's not lie, let's not kid ourselves. We're not just trying to rub our bellies. But the truth is, sometimes we're being called to create space, create distance. You know, I've stepped away from my own craft this year, my own goals, my own dreams, my God-given mission, even to the point of saying, goodbye to them in my heart and in my mind, only for that distance and space to reel me back in closer than ever. You understand? And in reality, just like birthing new interests, new worlds, new directions, things that excite me and are blowing my mind. I'm actually like, I'm in a space right now. I'm starting to feel that passion again. It's keeping me up all night, robbing me of sleep. I'm waking up exhausted physically, but buzzing spiritually and emotionally. And it feels good to be in that space again. I feel like I'm that 18-year-old kid living in my mama's basement with nothing but $1 and a dream. And it's fun being in that space, and not having the world in that space with me at the moment is beautiful as well. I haven't even shown or told anybody a thing what I'm up to. I'm exploring whole new worlds, ones that I actually can't even fully explain yet. But I have been making a lot more music. The music is flowing through me, the ideas are flowing through me, and it's really come from a place of stillness, not pressure. You know, Erykah Badu, I love Erykah Badu. She actually one time she DM'd me, and there's not a lot of people that can like make me melt, but Erykah Badu is one of them. She DM'd me, she's like, nice work, light work. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's Badu, that's the queen, you understand? I'm like, oh my God. But I love her interviews, I love her wisdom. And she was mentioning just the magic and that energy, like, you know, that flow, and that she loves how Andre 3000 is there right now.
He was fulfilled. He was happy. He was doing what he wanted to do at his own pace. There was no urgency, you know, to be right. He was happy with making mistakes.
Not in this energy of, I need to make something. I need to post something. I need it to be successful. I need to win in life, or else everything's gonna go down the drain. But from a place of alignment, you understand. The truth is, we're not just like making art or making content or whatever you're building in your life, your business, whatever it may be, whatever your thing is. But we're also treating life as an art in itself. Life is the practice in itself. Life is the art. What did Rick Rubin say? The creative act, right? Like your life is a creative act in itself. You know, waking up and going to the beach today and doing nothing may be the most creative and purposeful thing you can do. Truly. It's not always about forcing your face into a laptop and listening to Alex Hormozy telling you to skip your morning routine and just work. Now, sometimes super necessary. I like listening to bro when I really need that, like, but I don't want to be in that energy every single day. And I don't think you need to as well, right? Sometimes you just need to live, truly live, see your life as an art in itself, because each moment is pouring into the next. Like, imagine this, right? We're going to go hypothetical. Imagine you are a painter. Now, maybe you are a painter. Wow, this is for you. But imagine you are a painter, and for 2 years, you don't even lay a single brushstroke due to creative blocks, fears, other life responsibilities. Life just happens. You know, when one domino falls, the whole thing just comes crashing down. Life like that. Life is hard sometimes. And then in reality, you just start living, you know. Maybe you even think painting isn't for you, and maybe it's time to hang it up. And then 3 years later, out of nowhere, while sitting on a restaurant patio, you're having a good meal, you got the appies out, you understand, you got a beautiful drink by your side. I love my like ginger, like a good ginger drink, you know, like a summertime, you know, iced ginger drink. And then you glance to your left and you notice somebody who's just beautiful, crazy style, crazy look, and it just sparks something in you. You go home, right? And naturally you just pick up that paintbrush and you paint. You get lost in the sauce, you're in the process. And next thing you know, you make something you truly love. And that painting becomes a viral hit for you, bringing in tons of opportunities you have not seen in your life yet. You're doing your own exhibitions, man. You got celebrities buying your paintings. You become a household name. Kind of like how J.K. Rowling was like a nobody, was getting rejected over and over, wrote Harry Potter, I believe, like while living in her car or something like that. I'm not sure if that's factual, but that's what I heard. You become a household name out of nowhere. And now you're doing interviews and you reflect back on your story. And someone asks you, hey, like, what was one of the most pivotal moments in your life? And you think back to those 2 years of space where you weren't creating, you weren't in your craft, are you going to see that as something negative? Or are you going to reflect and be like, wow, that season was the soil, was a new preparation, was a new seed being planted for my greatest creation. I didn't make something for 2 years, or I just made shitty shit for 2 years, or whatever it may be. I wasn't all there. I let go. There was distance and time and space. And then I went on to create my biggest, most beautiful piece yet. The pause was preparation. We're so addicted to results, especially in a world that gives us immediate satisfaction. I think it's been one of the hardest things for creatives is to live in this world where you can get validation and satisfaction from your work right away. In one way, it's beautiful. In another way, it robs us of that curiosity and that journey we're supposed to go on. And then we forget how to live because we're always in output mode. We forget how to treat life as an art itself. We forget to slow down. You understand? You understand? Like, this is my art as well. It's like speaking is an art for me. Sometimes we got to play with it. Sometimes we got to slow down. You understand? Because even before the podcast, even before the post you make, before the camera even turns on, before the brushstroke, how you breathe, you understand? How you move through the day, how you listen, how you respond when no one's watching, how you walk, how you talk. That's the real life canvas, I believe. You understand? Like, that's life in itself is its own practice, is its own discipline, is its own creation. And I believe when we live with intention, when we give the same energy to how we live and to each space, each experience, as we do to like the pressure we put on ourselves to make, that's when things start to align. That's when the art that does come out of us actually means something, because it wasn't built in a rush. It was built in real life. You know, culture sells us this lie like it's gospel. Like, you got to keep going or you'll be forgotten. You have to show up every day, be consistent. I think it's a lie. I actually think it's a lie. Some seasons you're not going to be as consistent as others. You understand? Look at the ocean. Is the ocean moving the same every single day? No, the current is different. Sometimes the waves are blazing. Sometimes it's completely still. Be like the ocean. Rick Rubin said it best: productivity is not the same as creativity. I have days where I'm more productivity focused, and then I have days in my calendar that are meant for experimentation and play, or rest and reflection, right? Honoring both. I've been doing that. Oh my God, I love it. Because creation is not a factory. It's a current, it's a rhythm, it's a presence. And real work, I don't think it always comes from effort. It comes from alignment. I've experienced this. Listen, that one beat I was working on, I hit a roadblock with that beat 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I would revisit, nothing hit me. Then out of nowhere the other day, boom. But what happened? I lived life. I went through many different things, experiences, good, bad, the ugly. More life was in me, and now we're pouring it into something. One of the most important questions you can ask is, what is alignment for me? What does that mean for me? And what I've learned is, it's often in that stillness, in that step back. That's where the answers usually start to emerge. Because think about it, like when you're locked in, you're focused, you're rushing, you're hustling, you're grinding, and you are like fixed on a destination, often we ignore the subtle signs, the red flags, or the alarms calling us to step back into our own rhythm, right? So if this is resonating for you, what I'd like you to do is just ask. Sometimes we need to stop wrestling for the answer and just sit with the right question. Think about what the right question is. What does alignment look like for me? And the answer may not emerge right away. You may have to live a bit for that answer to reveal itself, right? Be patient. For myself, alignment is choosing to honor all my seasons, my stillness, my resilience, my pressure, the urgency, the grace, the hustle, the rest, the breaks, all of it. I love it. Because I don't like operating in one tempo and then guilting myself for not living up to that tempo. You know, like I don't want to be in pressure, urgency, and hustle 24/7. I do love that mode though. I'm not gonna lie. But there's other experiences, emotions to journey through, man. It's like if you order a meal, like I want the whole meal. You understand? Give me the side dish, give me the appetizer, maybe even some dessert. Let me experience life. we are artists. We love the feels, we love the moods. You understand? And I always remind myself at the end of the day, like, I chose to be an artist. And to me, that's not just like what I make, it's the way I live my life. I have committed to live my life different, just in a different way. So like, because I'm gonna live my life in my own way and lead my own way, I need a flow. I need systems and tools to allow me to honor myself as an artist, but keep the business operation simple and effective so adulting and the worries don't take over the mind and affect what we're doing over here. And one of those tools that keep me in my rhythm is our sponsor of the day, Acuity Scheduling. So what I love about it is it lets people book time with me. I can set my available hours, then focus on my niche creations or go to Jamaica. I'm a citizen now, got some land, we're building a home, fire. But my clients can pick what works and there's like no back and forth. They can pay up front or place a deposit easily using payment tools like Stripe, PayPal, or Square. So by the time we connect, everything's already in place flowing. I have like a very like ADHD type of mind, like not trying to hop on a trend, but like even when I was like a baby, the doctors told my mom, like, they're like, yo, this kid got ADD. So simplicity is key for me. So I love how Acuity Scheduling, it talks to everything. Like the integration is beautiful. Google Calendar, Zoom, QuickBooks, all synced, all smooth, perfect for someone like me, messy artist. But to be honest, in reality, I think it's more than a tool. It's really a peacekeeping system. Acuity Scheduling helps me focus on what matters, creating, connecting, and living this life intentionally, because life is an art. So if you're building your dream life too, build systems that move with you. Check out www.acuityscheduling.com/Heinz for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code Heinz20 to save 20% off your first Acuity Scheduling subscription. Fear, I want you to ask yourself something. Have I been operating from a place of fear? Have I been operating from fear? Now, sometimes a little fear is good, but to live in fear 24/7 is no good. Again, we want the full human experience, right? We're not just cherry picking one emotion. Constant fear is it's like when we act from survival instead of alignment. And I think this is where a lot of us are. I've been there so much in my life. I hate it. Even Questlove from The Roots said this.
Do it again, rehearse 5 times. You can't go out unless you practice your scales and that sort of thing.
Do your paradiddles.
I know that's from Fight or Flight. And even though music is my wheelhouse and it's my joy space, it was always approached with fear. Like I'll say now that this very Roots album that I did was the first time where it's like, I have good intentions. Like I want to send something out to the world that's beautiful, that's art.
Isn't that crazy? To me, that's crazy. Like a creative legend in his 50s admitting just now he's learned how to operate out of alignment and playfulness and curiosity, and not just from survival, pressure, fear, or force. Even though those energies brought him the success, because we're not demonizing those are useful, right? At times, but it left him broken in many ways to where he had to learn how to reclaim his creative process. And him being, why am I doing this? I'm like, that's when I'm like into something, when I'm like, do you understand? But him being vulnerable like that, it was so beautiful for me. You understand? That is when vulnerability is beautiful, when it's truly to like release something off of yourself and connect with others. Because I would assume this soulful, cool, legendary brother just has creativity and the art just figured out. Like he's a living embodiment of it. He's always just in the flow. But he's really just on the same journey as all of us, giving us the tools in his story so we can learn quicker and feel less isolated. I actually highly recommend check out the whole interview. I think the channel it's on is called Soul Bloom, but it's a good conversation. We rush, I believe, because stillness feels unsafe. We produce just to prove we still exist, And I don't think that is creativity. That's like literally self-preservation, like wearing a mask. I think problem is survival mode can look productive, right? And it works. But underneath, it's just our nervous system trying not to drown. Oof, I felt that. Wisdom doesn't rush. It knows timing. It knows everything. It's comfortable developing its own rhythm. And that's what we're stepping into. You're stepping into more wisdom. The pause you're in may not be failure. It's preparation. The stillness you're stepping into, the space you're stepping into is sacred. You're not inactive. You're becoming. And when you do return, because you will return, you're not going to be in that space forever. You're going to return a little bit different. You're going to be doing things differently and beautifully. I truly hate this idea of climbing a mountain, getting to a peak just to climb to the next peak. Like, what about enjoying the view? What about learning to get comfortable in a new space and receiving the fruits of your hard work? Growth is always available if you make space for it. But in this season, we are becoming clearer, more honest, less reactive, more refined. More refined like that, more refined, because your spirit had time to stretch out again. That's why I believe some of your best work, the real stuff, doesn't come from grinding. It comes from readiness. It comes from stillness. Paulo Coelho wrote The Alchemist in just 2 weeks. In just 2 weeks. And it became one of the most impactful books in modern history, right? Very hard to find someone who hasn't read The Alchemist. But it didn't happen because he was forcing it. It happened out of nowhere, just living his life, willing to receive, because life had already written the story inside him. He just had to get quiet enough to let it come through him. He even said himself, it was like the universe had been waiting for me to listen. Maybe the universe might be isolating you a little bit, creating distance, creating resistance, so you finally listen. Sade didn't release music for a decade. And when she came back with Lover's Rock, boom, timeless, soulful, unbothered by trends, the energy, Sade, she just smooth, the energy, different. She had a decade of life experience to pour into it. She wasn't rushing to be relevant, you understand? She knew she was timeless. She let life deepen her voice. She let the silence literally shape her sound. I love how space can shape us, right? We think only action can shape us. No, shape space. Think about it when you go to the gym and you train. How do you actually grow the muscles after? You need to give your body some rest, right? Your muscles grow in the rest as well. And your gift doesn't disappear just because you step away. Sometimes it evolves, it matures because it has space, it has time. That's why I always say, follow your gift. It will always be there and even expand in different ways. Every one of us has a gift. Every one of us has something that comes really natural to us. For me, it's I have a good ear, good eyesight, and I can communicate in a very simplified way for others to understand. And it comes to me, you understand? I can hop on live stream for 2 hours and just communicate. But every single one of us has a gift. What is yours? Think about it. You may have amazing communication or design skills, or you're able to bring people together. Whatever it is, you've been given a gift. Follow it. And normally, if you want to discover what that gift is, it is what comes natural and easy to you. What comes easy to you, you might not even think it's a gift, but it is what comes easy to you. Even Erica, again, the Queen Erica, Miss Badu, oof, love Miss Badu. She says it as well.
I like doing things that come real easy for me. Mm-hmm. And I do them well. And
perform for 2 hours straight, that ain't that easy.
It's super easy.
You singing, running back and forth, playing instruments?
It's easy. That's easy. This is easy for you. Mm-hmm. That's what I think people should focus on. What's the easiest thing for you? And find a way to capitalize on that.
And I think that's what we miss sometimes. We think that we have to force brilliance. We think we have to earn it through constant exhaustion. Nope. Yes, the 10,000 hours are needed, but living life fully is needed as well. What is the difference between AI and a human? An AI can create music, pictures, art, or whatever, I don't know, writing, everything, right? It can create everything, but it doesn't have the experience to infuse into it. If you have no experience, if you are not living life as a practice, as an art, everything you make is hollow. So you need to live, love, You understand? Get your heart broken. Good food, good rest, good laughs, trips, nerding out on new things that nobody cares about but you. Maybe you're going to be depressed for 60 days, but it's necessary. It's the human experience. It all happens to all of us. You understand? That's life. Embrace that space. All of it. That's the path for all of us. We're all creatives. We're individuals living a deep, meaningful life. Like, we have to do this.
Because I don't know if you understand it, we have to do this. Or we may be sick or something. Artists who use their art as therapy or use their art as a coping mechanism. You know, it helps me with all of the things that are off balance. I have to do that.
This is just food for us because our highest form of nutrition is in our expression. Sometimes we fast, right, to cleanse our bodies and our minds, sometimes for spiritual reasons. Sometimes we step back to replenish those gifts as well, to mold our crafts. You know, the most profound breakthroughs, I think, they may come when we stop pushing, finally stop pushing. When we trust that the stillness isn't a step back, but a step inward. Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way says, creativity is spiritual. It needs refilling. That's why your voice changes after loss. Your perspective evolves in uncertainty, and compassion grows through togetherness. You understand? This is something I had to remember, and I had to tell myself. You don't become great, Hines, by just staying locked in the studio 24/7. That's like old hip hop mentality. I spend 18 hours a day in the studio. That's what I was doing. And I felt redundant. I felt redundant, getting bored of myself. I felt resentment. I would walk in here and not want to be here. But I think simply, we become great by becoming real, by letting life shape your soul and also shaping life itself. And when we live deeply, I think like whatever you are doing, you know, you're not performing, but it starts telling its truth. And when you do come back, because a lot of us have felt like we have drifted away or lost ourselves and we're in this unknown space. And again, uncomfortable, but beautiful. Remind yourself that this space is beautiful too. And when you find yourself, you're not chasing anymore, you're not trying to prove, you're just expressing, you're going to see how beautiful it truly is. Rick Rubin said, return to the beginner's mind, right? Not the expert, not the influencer, but the curious one. The childlike spirit, because that's when flow returns. You understand? That's where we like to be. We like to be in a flow because that's when we can feel like we can play again and we can breathe, and you're not trying to go viral. You're trying to go inward, right? Grabbing the experiences, the textures, the perspectives, the feels, the moods, everything, and pouring it into something. Let life work through you, you understand? And your gift will grow with you. Sometimes time and space away from something can actually bring you a lot closer and make it a lot better. And you don't know in hindsight, everything is going to be more than all right.